back in this bitch. Alright, so we were discussing whoops, dropping all types of shit. We were discussing this full circle stuff. So let me better explain it, because now we have it on screen, and we'll jump right into Yata Mashata. But before that, let's see. You see the 0, 64, 27. Now I'll put that next to the phase to show you this shit in the portrait way. Alright, so if this is the hotel, that's the telly. The top part is 0. So that's 0, 64, and then 127. See how it goes? So, man, I just better bring it over here and just start playing, because talking will get you through it, and explain it to you, but you gotta hear it too. Alright, these are images, or you know what I mean, or portraits. That's like what this is. Alright, that's phase oscillator, that's a sine. That's a resonator, that's a saw times saw. This is the telly. That's out the materials engine. I'm not done with that engine yet. Give me a minute. It's rough. This is a square random grain, and this is sigil 0 plus 0, 3 minus 1 on the 4 tip. That's that. All right. So boring saw wave. We'll jump right up here to. Whoops, we'll jump up here to the sine wave that's in the phaser engine. Alright, now let's turn this shit down to 64. We'll meet them in the middle, right? So you gotta have one going one way and the other going the other. So oscillator 2 is plus 63. On the pulse width, and oscillator 1 will be negative 64. Both sources would be LFO1. Now if you truly want phase, you're gonna have to turn this one to 80. See how that works? Now you're starting in the middle. Now let's turn a resonator. Now actually let's go to the sigil. We'll go to the sigil because that's an image for real. But if you change it to that, you're going to have to go back to 64. See how it phases out when you turn the FM off? The FM is a patch cable. I cannot stress this shit enough. Okay, let's put it like this. FM is like a patch cable. If you FM oscillator to oscillator 1 to oscillator 2, the FM is the patch cable. RM is a patch cable between both oscillators, volume and some signal. Alright? If you sum the 8 and the 4 together, it's probably 12, unless you want to multiply it, then it's 32, Yata Mashata. It doesn't matter. You have to figure that type of math out on your own. I'm not here to break that math down in particular. I'm just telling you how this type of stuff works with the portraits and this full circle swinging shit. You know? Because it starts at 64, it goes around like this. Infinity symbol. Or you go in full circle. I told you that. You see? See? So now when you change the start phase, this is what happens. But in this case, you probably don't want to do that because you want it to go through everything from this way and also that way, because that's what the inversion would be. This way and this way. So let's take it back to random grain. We'll play with that and you'll hear it. Alright, now let's go to the telly. You can get a plethora of sounds out of one program. Like this telly, I can make a plethora of instruments with. I'm gonna do a Blofeld challenge one day. You know, where how many instruments can I get out of one program? We're going to do a program challenge. How many instruments, kit-wise, can you get out of it, from brass to strings to yata mashata? I'm going to do it on the fly from the hip, click like boom. You know what I'm saying? And I'm going to show you this shit. You can really get a plethora out of this stuff. All right, so let's go to resonators. Let's play. They don't make no noise, huh? Well, that's because we got an FM again. Now you're probably wondering, how in the fuck does that work? Well, on this piece of paper, I've always got papers and shit around. It's a mad scientist laboratory, you know what I mean. This is what's going on. It's moving through this type of shit. From high peaks to low peaks, resonant peaks or formant peaks, whatever you want to call them. This is moving. Now I know you can't see it in this image because it's like some almost like 2D, 3D shit, and it's kind of hard to tell. This looks like a jumbled bunch of lines and God knows what. And then, you know, that does look like a hotel-y. That definitely does look like a 4-level hotel, man. Probably got a swimming pool in it. And this one looks definitely like grain, because as you see, it's just a bunch of spots. And that definitely looks like some type of magical type of insignia. So what's happening is these peaks actually go up and down. And I could show you that because I'll sweep it and then we'll play. You see? That's exactly how it goes. So depending on where you start at is how high the peaks are going to be within the play range. And that's where you're going to get your resonance at. Obviously, being at 0 or 127, since it's phased, will give you the most highest peaks. And 64 would be damn near nothing. Because actually 64 would look much like this. That almost looks like a cone filter. And yeah, that's what it does. 64 and then back up to 0, and it's 64 and then back to 127. That's how it goes. So there's that's just it. That's just it. It's really quite simple. And the operations that I'm showing you guys, you know, this type of stuff right here, I mean, this is going to work for all of it. And I will note that if you do the 64, so when we started 64, we call that meeting them in the middle. Meeting them in the middle, like the song. That's good for hyper oscillators too. I will note that, because if you start at 64, it is the fundamental root note frequency. And the hyper oscillators, when they spread, you start to spread in the detune, which moves the tonic. So then it is no longer at an octave, it's at, whatever. So that's how that works. So let's see if I have a hyper oscillator on here, which I do. This is the old days. These are the older hyper oscillators. This is before I updated everything, got everything surgical, before I really went pro with this program editing stuff. So, but you see how it works though, you hear it. Yes, detune works. Only a 4 oscillator hyper. I have to let you know that the hyper engine has 4 oscillators, 8 oscillators, 16 and 32. And if you times that by 2, then it would be 8, 16, 32 and 64. So you have that much of a spread. You can go in between that. So yeah, I mean, that would pretty much wrap this up. I don't want to really keep going on and on and on and on. You have to pay attention quite close. That would be helpful. Let's go to Sound Campfire real quick. You see? Notice I didn't get into any filters and yachts. That's because I didn't really need to. I'm just trying to show you how this basic operation works. I know the last tape may have been a lot of talking, this one as well. I'm talking a lot more this time so you guys can understand what the fuck I'm actually doing, because I know that this shit is extremely confusing. Man, goddamn it, I confuse myself. You know what I'm saying? Y'all lucky I'm even bringing it to you like this. I confuse myself. Facts. Now look, let's go to random grain. Okay, and I'll show you this this envelope loop shit, and I'll explain this, and we'll keep it moving. And we'll cut this tape off. Get this on YouTube. All right, so we're gonna start here. Move this one to 80. So that's random grains going from dense to it's going from dense to scattered, and scattered to dense. That's how it goes. So let's put this envelope oops. That's supposed to be 60. Alright. 63. Turn the loop off. This is envelope 4. Okay. Loop off. You're going to set the release to like 36. Turn this to 64. And make sure everything's set right. Hold up, my bad. Now, how you're going to want this to do is you're going to want to set key tracking to the envelope 4 release and turn it to about, I don't know, negative 49 or something like that. And that's how you want to do that. Now, what you could also do, if you want to get into different start points, you set envelope 4 to this. We'll go random amounts, like envelope 4 is 38, envelope 4 to, oh shit, O2 FM, or I mean not O2 FM, O2 wave or whatnot, pulse width. That one 38, this one negative 38. So what you do is you're starting at different points. This is exactly what you're doing. A lot of noise is going on for that. So I know you can hear the cycling of the loop ball envelope. That's what you want to do. And if you wanted to get even more crazier, I would suggest selecting LFO for that, also the pulse width wave or whatnot. And you're going to probably go on some inversion shit, which would be negative something, and then on the next one positive something, and that's going to be on oscillator 2. And in this case I'm just doing random numbers. I'm not really trying to get really specific. I want you guys to see what the fuck I'm doing. And this is how it works. So that's a lot of noise. You can get a lot of noise with this type of stuff. Turn to sizzle. This is a very noisy tape. Please excuse me. Did a lot of talking, did a lot of diagram showing, and got some shata. If it was boring, I'm sorry. Sometimes learning is boring. I know that all too well. So I'll catch you guys on the flip. I hope you enjoyed this this episode. Get ready for the next one. I'll be right back. I got shit to do. I'll catch you on the flip.